Hello and welcome to Manor Farm Stables. My name is Danielle Baker and you probably know my father is head lad for Paul Nicholls and regular work rider of this champion here, the legendary Kauto star, who is really playing ball at the moment. Obviously he needs no introduction. He's won King George's, Gold Cups, Tingle Creeks and Betfair Chases, and my favourite memory of him would probably be his 5th King George win. I mean, that was just something else, and the reception he got from the crowd was just unbelievable. Yeah, and that's big bucks. You're not quite that good yet, so you can go away, please. I love Kauto because he's really quirky and he's just got a character and he's so charismatic. He loves having his picture taken, but he's just a true gent at the same time. I mean, he's led here now. This is him out in the field, now retired. He's just so relaxed and he's just so special to us all. And Manor Farm Stables will be a very different place without him. I guess you could say I feel sad, but at the same time I'm relieved because he had such a fantastic career and he achieved so much, and I'm just so relieved now that he can sort of relax and enjoy the retirement that he deserves. I've sort of been to the Gold Cup and I've been to the King George, and I think the highlight for me would have been when he won his 5th King George. I mean, that was just, honestly, that was something else. The reception he got from the crowds and from, I mean, just all the people dressed up and the scarves, the flags. I mean, I thought I was at like a One Direction concert or something. It was that just crazy, and everyone just wanted to see Kauto star, and he just delivered as well. It was just, you couldn't have written it better. It's just what dreams are made of. Here we have the now obviously retired Denman, who unfortunately had to miss his last season, but he's very happy here now, spending time with his Besley mate Kauto. And we also have Sanctuary, and of course the horse over here takes no introduction. This is Big Bucks, obviously multiple winner of World Hurdles. I can think of worse places to be standing than in between these two. They're just not camera shy at all. Right.
Hey, you alright?
Yeah, good. Just filmed Kauto stuff.
What was he up
They
to?
led down and everything. It was
Was he?
brilliant. Yeah.
Ah, good.
So, Kauto star, you've probably had enough of chatting about him.
Yeah. Well, no, not really. We've been chatting about him for 8 years, so.
And obviously before Kauto you were involved with so many amazing horses, just the list goes on. There was Seymour Business, Corlett Canane, who you rode out here I believe, and Charter Party, the horses back at David Nicholson's. But surely, would you say you have a soft spot for Kauto star?
Oh yeah, definitely got a soft spot for him. I mean, you can't ride a horse for 7 or 8 years without getting close to him. It's been a pleasure to ride him for all that time. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
What's he like when you take him up the gallops? Is he one of those horses that does a lot and is very professional at home, or does he leave it all for on the track?
Oh no, to be fair to him, he would go up the gallop more or less as well now as he did from day one. But he's always been a professional at home, you know, in his work, and he enjoys his work.
So in retirement, what do you think is the most important thing for him?
Well, I think the main thing with him is he'll need to be kept busy.
Yeah.
Because he's that sort of horse. He doesn't enjoy life any more than he does when he's working.
No, yeah, that's fair enough. What about, I mean, obviously I think the whole of the racing world is probably going to join me in asking this question. Now that Kauto has retired, you can clearly spot a good horse when you see one. Who are you going to ride out next?
Don't know. I don't suppose I'll be able to nick Big Bucks because Rose won't let me. But who knows, there may be another one coming along. You never know.
Obviously the list of Grade 1 wins on his stable door, they speak for themselves, but could you sort of pinpoint 2 of his, not necessarily wins, just 2 of his races that really sort of embodied what Kauto style's all about in horse racing? I
don't know, obviously so many, but I think his first Betfair was probably very, very impressive. The way I was actually in America at the time. But I can remember he just, first time over 3 miles, and he just absolutely skated up. And probably the other one to stick in the memory the most would probably be the 209 Gold Cup.
Yeah.
Obviously because he was the first horse to regain the Gold Cup after losing it. So those two were probably, probably two of the most memorable one, but also obviously you got your 5th King George as well, which will always be very memorable.
And so you've listed your favourite races, but what about memories at home? I mean, you've ridden him out for 8 years. Has he ever done it? Does he get up to no good? Or, I mean, I've heard that he's pretty fresh out on the roads.
Yeah, he's okay to ride away when he comes in, but he really does have this thing about traffic, and he always has since day one. I mean, he can just about cope with walking by a car that's driving by him without worrying too much. But if it's a van, a tractor, a lorry or a bus or anything like that and it's moving, then I'm whipped round and back down the road.
Do you feel the pressure? You're riding out Kauto Star.
People often ask me that, and to be honest, because I think I've done it so long and got so used to doing it, I think I just blank it out of my mind and just get on and do it.
And I'm sure you're going to be all hardcore and say that you won't, but will you miss him?
I think
now that he's not in the yard?
I think we will miss him. I think everybody will miss him, and yeah, I'll miss not going to put my tack on him every day. He'll be missed by everyone, and probably no more so than the public.
They send their bet every week. Buffy only bet in 3 weeks. Everybody choked out their back but on scoop and everything.
And I'm obviously joined now by champion trainer Paul Nicholls, also trainer of Kauto Star. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to chat to me about him today. You must be fed up by now.
No, not at all. You can never be fed up with talking about Kauto. He's been a wonderful horse, from the day he first arrived here. The minute we started riding and we're doing something with him, you could just see he was class.
Yeah.
And the first run, I remember saying to Ruby, he ran at Newbury when Norris's chase just before Christmas. Just after Christmas, it was just the New Year's Eve meeting, and I just said, Ruby, make sure at Newbury next week, I think we got something special for you to ride.
Yeah.
And of course he won, and Ruby came back with a smile from here to here and said, yeah, he's a smart horse.
If you had to narrow it down to 2 or 3 racing performances, not necessarily wins, just performances that he's put in over the past 8 seasons, if you like, that really embody what Kauto and what racing's all about as well.
Yeah, I think 3 stand out to me in particular. The time you regain the Gold Cup, it's the first horse ever to win, lose and regain the Gold Cup, and that might be hard to do ever again in the future. That was one particularly striking performance to come back and then this year, when I say this year, it was last year, 2011, when he won the Betfair Chase at Haydock and the King George for a 5th time, and the Betfair was the same, and having been written off really after a unlucky time last year, it was just awesome. And for any horse to win a 5th King George in that day was just magical.
Yeah, I mean, talking about that day, I was there, and the support that Kauto got was unreal. Yeah. I mean, lots of projects like Racing for Change are trying to improve the public's appreciation of racing. How important do you think Kauto has been in drawing in the fans? And
well, amazing over the last few years. You think he's been running all these times, just one of them with the jumping horses. If they can stay sound, they keep going. And to run in 5 King Georges, running 6 actually, and win 5, it's just been absolutely amazing. And everybody got behind him, and that was just one very, very special day winning the King George. And as you know, we've had our ups and downs with him as well. There's all the ups, and the biggest down of all to me was, without a shadow of doubt, the day he fell screaming before the Gold Cup this year, because we thought we had him at his really, really his best, and the fall was just one of those things that can happen to anything, but it was the last thing we wanted with him, and that took a lot of that was a hard day, that was, and we did our best to get him on the course, and it just obviously we didn't need that fall at the wrong, and that was a big low point with him really, but the highs just completely outweigh all those. He's been amazing.
That's what he's been about, though, isn't it? He's been a whole roller coaster of emotions for all of you since you got him. And we've been brought up with him, and we just love him for that.
I think sport like that in general, and sport in whatever you're doing is a little bit of a roller coaster. That's just the way it is. Nothing can be easy. But he has, highs and lows, and it has been a roller coaster. But the highs, I think was it 16, 17 Grade 1s. There'll be another, not in my lifetime. There'll never be another like him.
Do you think the public will miss him? I mean, do you think
without a
racing
shadow of
national
doubt,
heart will suffer?
but you always move on, and and no, national hunt racing won't suffer, because national hunt racing is a good place. You think all the other good horses coming along. I mean, Big Bucks is doing a great job at the moment. I'm lucky I've got him, and there'll be another generation of really smart horses. But whether there's anything quite like him,
Can you see anything
I
out
can't,
there?
not at the moment. I don't think there is. Big Bucks is a different type of horse, and he's in a different category. He's, in what they call the softer division. He's in the staying hurdle. Never going to quite get the recognition and the fan following that perhaps Kauto has got. And at the moment, there isn't another Kauto starter there. I know we'd all like to find one, but it'll be incredibly hard to do.
No. Who do you think would miss him the most out of people from the yard?
Obviously, Clive, his owner, because that's been such a big part of his life. But we live with him every day. Rosa looks after him now. Clifford rides him every day. Myself, just looking at that, seeing him in box one, and seeing him training every day. It's been an amazing 5 or 6 years, and we'll all miss him terribly. But at the end of the day, he's still a relatively young horse. If you're looking at show jumping terms, I'm sure he's going to be around for a long time, and he'll be doing something or to keep him active, or get Clifford, keep him going, leading the horses. There's lots of things he can do, and hopefully he can stay in box one and be ridden out regularly, and still, although he won't be running, he'll still be part of the team.
Hi Megan. Hello. Little bit wet out there?
Just a little.
Ready to run?
Yeah,
Looks ready to run.
Saturday, yeah.
I'm now joined here with Megan Nicholls, who is daughter of, obviously, Paul Nicholls. Bless her, she's soaked through because she's just been out riding in the rain. So thank you so much for joining us, Meg. Obviously, I'm going to talk to you about a horse that I know is very dear to your heart. I know you're very involved in your dad's yard, and I know you like all the horses, but surely Kauto Star is something a bit special to you, perhaps?
Yeah, he's right up there at the top. Bless him. Been around for ever since I can remember, to be honest.
Well, exactly. I mean, you're just a couple of years older than him, aren't you? You're 14.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, just a bit older than him. So he's literally, since I can remember, he has been here.
And
really.
What makes him different to every other horse in this yard?
I suppose he knows he's the one. He's just so special, and everyone loves him. He's got a great temperament, and he's just quirky. He's just got it all, really. He's so special.
And I mean, you can't remember when he first sort of arrived at the yard, but what are your earliest memories of him? I mean, can you remember his early days?
I think the first thing I can really remember was when first time he was schooling, and Christian Williams was riding him, and I mean, it's just so different. I mean, he wasn't as brave as he is now, but yeah, that was a while ago.
Well, I suppose you've grown up together, really. So as he's grown up, and he's definitely matured, like so have you.
Yeah, he's just grown into what he is now over the years, and I mean, he's always been pretty special from the day he came. His first run, he was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I mean, what he's done now has just been amazing.
And obviously, he's just won endless Grade 1s, but also he hasn't always won. He's just put in some fantastic performances. Could you sort of pick, say, 2 of your favourite over the years that you think really sort of stand for what Kauto is?
Well, I mean, that year that he was second to Denman in the Gold Cup, that was just unbelievable. I mean, when Denman was at his best, he was just phenomenal, and Kauto he really did put everything into it, and he just got beaten by a better horse on the day. And then to regain it the next year, that's just unbelievable, to be fair. Such a good effort.
Now, obviously, we've watched a fair few of Kauto's races together. Probably quite embarrassing.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you watch him race? I mean, what's going through your mind? I'm sure it's the same as mine.
I don't really watch, to be honest. Get other people to tell me, but yeah, it's pretty nerve-wracking. And then if I know that he's clear of coming to the last, I watch then, and I do shout a fair bit, I'd say.
And I mean, you're the same as me. We've been brought up for Christmas. It's great. It's exciting. Get a roast dinner, but then the day after, I get to go to Kempton.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine going to Kempton this year without him? I mean, would it be the
Not
same?
really. It will be strange. But I suppose he's been there and done it, and I mean, not every horse wins as many King Georges as he has.
Exactly, and
it's
he deserves
pretty special. Yeah.
Definitely. And now I'm going to ask your dad to do this, but I don't know, he might not be able to. So if not, can I please count on you to find the next Kauto Star when you're training?
Wow. Pressure's on there. It might be a hard job, but we'll certainly try.
So So now I'm joined here with Rose Loxton, who is probably the luckiest woman in racing, being groomed to not only Kauto Star but also the legendary Big Bucks. Clearly been associated with so many amazing horses in your lifetime. How is Kauto Star different for you?
Well, I mean, he is the best. He was the best horse, really. So, I mean, I remember the first time I saw him when he came over from France. He was down in the paddock behind Paul's house, and he had a really short tail.
Really?
And he walked up to me, and I said, "Gosh, you're nice. You know, you're special." And then, of course, the rest is history. You know, he came out and he won a lot of nice chases when he was a youngster, and just got better and better. And he's the star that we all know.
So how long have you been his groom?
I've just looked after him for last season and this, because Nick Child had him before and then he left, and we didn't know if Kauto would stay in training that long, so Paul said to me, well, you may as well look after him because he might only run once. But of course then we went to the bet fair, and you know what happened there. Yeah, he showed them all he wasn't ready for retiring, and it was just an amazing season. I mean, you go in the paddock with him and people just love him. He's a real people's horse, and he grows 4 inches higher, and he's saying, yeah, look at me, does the biz, and loves the Mexican wave, and it just brings tears to your eyes, you know, and shivers down your back. It was just an amazing experience. It was wonderful.
So Kauto clearly responds well to all the pressure. What about
he
you?
loves it.
How nervous do you get before he races?
You get quite nervous because you realise that everyone is watching him, and you just really, because he's such a favourite with everyone, you just want him to come home in one piece. But obviously when he wins, it's an extra bonus. But everyone loves him. Maybe not the opposition, but no, it is an awesome experience.
I mean, you clearly know him like the back of your hand. Does he have any sort of funny habits? Is there anything that he doesn't like? You know, things that people in the public don't ever get to see?
He loves his routine. He doesn't like his routine being mixed up, and you know, he's always watching for Clifford to come and give him his hay at 4 o'clock. He's ready at the door, and he doesn't like having his tummy tickled. That makes him cross, and clipping is always an issue, you know. But you have to do it his way. You can't bully him, because he'll definitely tell you who's boss. Yeah, yes, definitely, and but very loving as well. He likes cuddles. He's, you know, we'll miss him. He's a lovely horse.
What about Big Bucks? Is he jealous?
Big Bucks, when I first started doing Kauto, he'd look across the yard and saying, what are you doing in that box? You're meant to be with me. But he's kind of accepted it now. And there are 2 different horses. Bucks is quite modest, doesn't realise how good he is, where Kauto knows he's the bee's knees, and you know, they're different, very different characters.
And how do you feel now, thinking that he won't be at Manor Farm Stables?
We've had him here for so many years. He's been part of the furniture, him, Denman next door, and you know, people's faces when they come in the yard, they see them, they light up, and we've been so used to having them, and you know, you just don't realise that it's the end of an era now. We'll never see the likes of him again, I don't think, because he's just truly awesome, amazing horse.
He's a freak, Dad says.
Definitely
He's
a freak, yeah, definitely.